Good morning, everyone. It's Saturday, which means it's time for yet another salty Saturday morning. I am your host, Mr. Kadish. Get it right. That is my official title. And speaking of official, we have an official Salty Nerd panel today, starting with the man, the myth, the legend, Dutch Butters. How you doing, Dutch?
I'm recovering, bro. I'm recovering. It's been Nerd Week. It's Meetup Week here in Las Vegas. And let me tell you, day 3 comes along. There's a lot of ripe nerds walking the strip. And I think I got a little bit of pseudo con crud from being in close proximity to everybody. And, got a little bit of a runny nose, got a little bit of a frog in my throat. And, it's just the price we pay, though, for hanging out with everybody. It's been a really fun week, actually. So,
also, we need to inform our viewers that Dutch Butters is an official internet celebrity. He got recognized.
I am a famous gamer guy.
The meetup. Yep. And people didn't refer to him by his dead name. They called him, "Oh, you're Dutch Butters."
Yeah, look, everybody comes to town. Oh, Matt Vader. Oh, wait, you're not Matt Vader anymore, right? You're that Matt Vader? No, it's Dutch Butters. It's not Matt Vader anymore. It's Dutch Butters. I've been Dutch Butters for like a year now, but I'm never going to shed Matt Vader, but that's okay. It's all right. I had one guy come up to me at the meetup. He goes, "Matt Vader, Salt Divers, Hell Divers game." I'm like, "Yes, that's me. Thank you so much." It was very validating. It made my day and made me feel kind of special for 30 seconds. So thanks to that.
Now
awesome.
Mr. Butters has a huge ego. He thinks he's the star of the show.
That's right.
Yeah. So
the star of the show.
Star of the show.
Not even
everyone chat star to support Dutch Butters' ego.
The star.
The real head inflating thing of the weekend, I'll tell this story real quick, was when we got there to the meetup, and you know how you have to sign up on the app to get into the door to get a ticket, right? Well, those sells out in like 30 seconds when Gary puts those up, and we didn't have ours. But we know people, so we just walked up in front of like 300 people who were in line, and Beardo and Ryan were right there. We go, "Hey guys," and Ryan walked around the corner, and goes, "Let those dudes in," and we just like walked right in like we were ballers at the nightclub in front of everybody. And I wanted to go, "Suck it, nerds," but I didn't. And nerds. We had a great time. It was fun. So.
Sounds like me when I go out in public. When you leave, I have to be on the list.
There was a list.
I am the list. Okay.
That's right.
You just let me in.
So it was fun. Good times.
Yes. Dutch Butters was the celebrity of the week. Walking around. We can say we knew him when.
Yeah.
And he didn't even have to show his feet.
So.
No. All right. Well, he's here. He's queer. He's our shield against all things intersectional. Brian from the podcast. How you doing, buddy?
What's up? I did not get sick because I decided not to hang out with all the sweaty nerds, and I just spent time with all the sweaty creators on Wednesday.
That was good.
Had a great time. Enjoyed myself. Got to see my bro Dutch Butters again. That was fun.
We were only like 10% gay. So
12%.
12%.
Yeah, right. That's what. Right. You never realize until you actually spend time in person with the people you stream with how much you enjoy their company. Yeah. You know what I mean? I had not seen Gary for like 4 years since Picard season 3. I had not seen Gary in person, and that guy is just like the most lovable guy on the planet. It's so weird. He's the nicest. Like he's such a bro. And you always forget that when it's been like 4 years. But I really enjoyed myself. I'm glad I spent time. And Matt actually sponsored part of my trip, which was great. Matt Kadish. So I really had a good time. And I really appreciate how much work you guys put into it every year.
Yeah, and Brian got to come to the studio and hang out for a while.
Oh my God, the studio is gorgeous.
Fans. Yeah.
You guys don't get how nice the studio is. I had not seen it since the original Salty Nerd set was built. And then I saw like their new like couch set. Bro, I had like wood the entire tour. Once you saw that, Matt was like, "This is our closer studio." I'm like, "Are you kidding me? This is this is all you need to show people." It's beautiful studio. Jesus. And inspired me to finally build my studio. And so my plan for next year is to get my studio built too.
Nice. Well, and Matt, Dutch Butters can attest to this. So we were part of internet history yesterday, where our new studio helped spawn a Chris Gore meme that shall live in infamy until the end of time. So we were able to patch Chris Gore in from our new studio to Friday Night Tights, where he immediately just stood still the entire time. Looked like he was a dead body, and spawned a whole host of memes. But it was a lot of fun. And it was good to see Brian in person. I don't know if people know this, but me and Dutch, we live in Las Vegas. Brian's in Orange County. Tom's somewhere in the Midwest at an undisclosed underground bunker.
It's Wisconsin.
Yeah, and Crimson, who we'll get to in a little bit. He just lives in a library somewhere.
Underground.
Somewhere in the
You're
East
not
Coast.
wrong.
All right, Tom Connors Jr., thank you for finishing your breakfast early today. So
I haven't even started eating yet. It's still oatmeal. It's just going off.
There you go. Well, it's good to see you. I know Andre had his birthday stream the other day. Unfortunately,
Yesterday.
Unfortunately, I was too busy with getting FNT set up at the studio that I wasn't able to hop on. But lots of birthday wishes to Andre. How did that stream go?
All right. It was just a normal day stream. It was just happened to be his birthday. I was going to surprise him, but nobody showed up. Everybody's so busy with your Las Vegas nonsense.
It's true. But just want to give a quick acknowledgement to Andre, the head honcho over at Midnight's Edge, because I don't think people realize like how instrumental he was to getting like the entertainment tube section of YouTube kind of off the ground early on when the Sony leaks were coming out and the Last Jedi was being released and all this other stuff. Like Andre and his channel Midnight's Edge was so instrumental to getting attention to those things. And just knowing him personally over the years, like he is one of the nicest, smartest, generous people out there. So
Who's even work for him?
What's that?
Who's even work for him?
Yeah, I don't even work for him. We're just
No, I thought you're saying such nice things.
But
He's Norwegian.
Yeah, because he's Norwegian. If you guys want to celebrate his birthday, go out and get some frozen pizza at your local grocery store and enjoy that. Lie bait in it. Should be good. All right. And last but not least, our special guest, one of my favorite YouTubers. He reads books, so I don't have to. And he's got his long hair back. He was going for a while. He's got the long, luxurious mane back. It's Krimson Rogue. How you doing, Crimson?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. I skipped a D&D game to be here.
Wow. We appreciate that type of commitment here.
Letting the guilt go free early on, just so you can understand my dire sacrifice here.
Yes, indeed. We appreciate that sacrifice. None of us sacrifice for this show, as is obvious. But we're glad that our guests do. So it's all good. All right, guys. So we got our leaderboard for this week. We got Scotty Dub, who is sitting pretty at the top spot on all the rankings that matter. He dropped $500 in one super chat, which makes him our top super chatter. And he's also our top contributor of the year so far. William Forbes, aka Made You Say Butts, he's second place with his $300 super chat. And we got Mexican Iron Man, who is our most consistent donator, but I don't think he's in chat right now. He's probably somewhere training for the apocalypse. And we also have our top gifters, Jillian H., Major Chai Chai, and Eric Winberg. Really appreciate you guys. So we got a couple of housekeeping things that we need to cover real quick. So the goal for this live stream is 10 new gifted memberships or 10 new members. I dropped it down because, despite Dutch Butter's insistence that we tried to hit 15, just wasn't happening all that often. So I want to make our goals achievable. Also, guys, be sure to
stuck that much. That's fine.
Yeah. Be sure to like and share this live stream and subscribe to our channel. We're trying to hit 25,000 subs. Still got a long ways to go, but with your help, I'm sure that we can hit it by the end of summer, hopefully. And also, If you want to join our community, go to saltynerdiscord.com, and that takes you right to our Discord community. We got lots of stuff happening there. Dutch, you want to tell people a little bit about our Discord server?
Well, the first thing you're going to be asked when you go to our Discord is if you're there for the gaming stuff or if you're there for the Salty Nerd stuff like this. And when you pick one, it'll take you to the appropriate side of the Discord. But, you know, you still have access to everything. Not a lot of rules there. The only rule is don't be a dick. We've only kicked 2 people off the Discord the entire time it's been up. So it's kind of a fun place to go. You know, lots of gamers, lots of people talking about nerd stuff, and we have a good time. It's fun. So come join us.
Very
low
good.
Key.
And stay tuned after the show because the Brain Show is up immediately afterwards at 3:30 Pacific, 3:30 Eastern. Brian, what's going on the Brain Show today?
We're talking about how space isn't real.
Shut up. I'm not watching that shit.
I'm kidding. Space is real. If you're a flat earther, you're probably in need of some knowledge.
Maybe
But,
if your topic is Katy Perry is not an astronaut, I'll watch it.
That's what we're
Okay.
talking about. We're talking about
Okay.
Katy Perry is not an astronaut.
Katy Perry's an astronaut for going into space for 10 seconds, and I'm a gynecologist.
Yeah, Tom's the gynecologist. Also, the whole fake like door scene. There's a whole thing with that. It's sort of nuts. It's really wild stuff. We're talking about the Superman, the practical effects, and Elon Musk's breeding fetish, and his what he said. He's trying to create a legion of babies, which I am not against because he's a smart guy. And the White House changed the COVID page on their website to basically a giant lab leak anti-Fauci page on the official whitehouse.gov.
I got to check that out.
It's going to be really fun to talk about.
Yes, indeed it is. And by the way, guys, I apologize because my camera is always glitching on me now for some reason. It's going to full view, and then like I have to like change it back to my close-up. Ready for my close-up.
Just make sure you have pants on, Matthew. That's what.
Oh, I always have pants
Okay.
on. This is a family show, goddamn.
I don't.
All right. So real quick, big shout out to Eric Winberg, who gifted 1 Salty Nerd Podcast membership, his obligatory one every week. Thank you, Eric. Appreciate you. And Major Chai Chai, who gifted 5 Salty Nerd Podcast memberships, bringing our total up to 6.
Nice.
Thank you, Major Chai Chai. Really appreciate you. And then we've got our Aussie Hemorrhoid Hertz for $2 Australian.
Mhm.
It's 3 a.m., friends. That's dedication and a weak bladder. Yes, indeed. We appreciate you being up at all hours of the morning, Hemorrhoid Hertz.
You must be lonely.
I don't know. Maybe he's got like 3 or 4 ladies.
What's 3 a.m.? You must be lonely.
All right. And then we got
That did not get the joke at all, seriously.
John Apocalypse for £5. Saw Sinners today and was kind of disappointing, but I did really like the ending. So the Gorge saw also the Gorge last night, and that was pretty damn good. I actually really liked the Gorge. I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch that yet. It's on Apple for free. But really good show.
Now I canceled my Apple because nobody was talking about stuff on there.
I know.
Until all of a sudden people started talking about stuff on there. I'm like,
it's got some of the best like original series out there, actually, and their future lineup for stuff that's coming down the pipeline looks really good. So, really enjoying Apple. Then we got Mexican Iron Man, our consistent donator, for $9.99. I'm traveling with Mexican Iron Kid today on the East Coast, but this is my weekly reminder that one and all should address the greater Mr. Katy as such. For lo, he is our hero. Thank you, Mexican Iron Man. Appreciate that. All right, guys, you know who isn't people's hero right now is Mr. Beast. And there's some shenanigans going on with a certain fan meetup, because the theme of today's show is actually going to be like fan meetups because we had like the Nerdrotic thing here in Vegas this week. But Mr. Beast, apparently, he made a big boo-boo. He partnered up with a casino out here called Resorts World, and they were going to have a Mr. Beast Las Vegas experience for $1,000 a person. So basically, you'd have a 3-night stay at Resorts World. You'd get all types of interesting like mystery bags and exclusives, and you'd have a meet and greet with Mr. Beast. And when people checked in, these people who paid $1,000 for this experience, they were told to wait in their rooms for a special surprise. And there was also a chance to win $10,000. So everyone who checked in spent the first 2 days in their hotel room. And then the big surprise, I guess, was a gift bag that had about $9 worth of swag from the Mr. Beast shop in it. And so when people got this, they were understandably upset because they thought that it was going to be like some type of like big surprise. And the hotel was like, no, it's just this cheap gift bag that we made for you. So the hotel, when everyone who paid for this experience was complaining, basically said like, okay, sorry that this didn't meet your expectations. Here's a $50 gift card for food and beverage. And so these people who paid $1,000 were like, what the hell's going on? And Mr. Beast actually responded on Twitter or X, where he basically said, this definitely isn't the experience. We hope they deliver, they being Resorts World. My team is already on it. I'd love to personally make it up to you and anyone else by inviting everybody affected to tour my actual studio, which is in South Carolina, I believe. Can't wait to meet you all, and my team is reaching out to everyone. So unless Mr. Beast covers like the airfare, the hotel, and all that stuff, and also like who wants to go to South Carolina for a vacation? I don't really know who. But basically, this has been like just yet another misstep by Mr. Beast in a long series of misstep ever since he kind of got big and got a target on his back. So he's been accused of all types of not so nice stuff, especially surrounding the Beast games, where he was being accused of unsafe, unsanitary conditions, not feeding people, all this other stuff. And this is just yet another thing. Now, Dutch Butters, I know that you have a lot of experience working on the Las Vegas Strip. So I wanted to ask you, like, what do you think the hotel's part was in this kerfluffle? And was Mr. Beast even involved, or was this someone else's mess?
I honestly, dude, I don't really know quite what to say about this. It sounds like Mr. Beast people and the hotel's people had a hard time communicating with each other, because I really am kind of confused about the whole thing, because if they had set this up right, then Mr. Beast company would have already had a bunch of fun bags and a bunch of things set up with the hotel far ahead of time. And what it sounds like to me is that the hotel kind of got stuck flat-footed and didn't know what to do because they weren't communicating well with Mr. Beast people, because these gift bags they gave him were like a size small Mr. Beast t-shirt and a keychain or some shit. I don't know, but you could go out to any of the nerd stores around town and probably pick up. They probably had somebody go out there. You need to go to these nerd stores and just get Mr. Beast stuff and put them in this bag so we can give them to these people and pacify them, and I don't know. It seems very strange, because I've seen these events where they group up with people and they all go off without a hitch. But this whole thing seems very, very strange to me, and it just reeks of communication issues. That's what I think the biggest problem was. It's just bad marketing departments on both sides. So,
well, Resorts World had a page up that kind of explained what people would get for this $1,000 a head.
Yeah,
and it's since been taken down. It says the Mr. Beast experience at Resorts World. In fact, I'll share this with people so that they can see it. Resorts World Las Vegas is thrilled to partner with internet sensation Mr. Beast to deliver the ultimate Mr. Beast experience at Resorts World. From April 13th to 15th, 2025, guests can enjoy the Mr. Beast experience package, complete with a 3-night stay at Resorts World and exclusive Mr. Beast mystery bag, which will be stocked with select Mr. Beast branded merchandise, and for one lucky guest, a $10,000 gift voucher redeemable for cash at Resorts World. Throughout the week, the property will host a variety of on-site activations designed for an immersive and unforgettable experience with our guests. Keep an eye out for the upcoming announcement detailing these exclusive on-site events, and then like we had like this little graphic there. Now, what's interesting here is basically, they didn't talk about any of the experiences that these people would be going into. There was supposed to be a meet and greet that apparently like never happened. Mr. Beast wasn't even in town. The mystery bag, like you said, it just had like tchotchkes in it, that stuff that you could get like on the Mr. Beast store for like $9. There was like, it was very confusing as to like what these people were actually paying for.
Let me bust in here really quick. So I need to be full disclosure, guys. I actually work at Resorts World. Okay, I don't want that's not any bearing whatever or of my thoughts on this thing, but I am not really allowed to discuss things that go on with the hotel out in the world on something like this. So I'm not being quiet for that reason. I just don't know anything about the marketing side of the business. I don't know anything about it because I work in security and in gaming. But I do know, in comparison, they just had this thing called the Jeff Lewis Chump Con. I'm not sure who this Jeff Lewis guy is, but he's another big internet TV celebrity type dude. And they had events all week long. They had the club sold out. They had dinners. They had all kinds of things, which I'm assuming is something very similar to what this Mr. Beast thing was supposed to be. And it went off without a hitch. So there was definitely some kind of communication issue going on with marketing departments. And that's really all I can really think of is this. There was just the communication was bad. So, because I know Resorts World is more than capable of pulling things like this off with, the right people. So I don't know. That's
I want to throw this to Brian. So Brian, Mr. Beast obviously heard about this. He responded. But I want to ask you, do you think Mr. Beast's team just nuked years of goodwill in one weekend? And how do you think they'll try to recover from it?
Well, they're recovering by Mr. Beast personally inviting people out to young boys out to his home. That's how they're recovering. We're gonna come on for a tour of my personal studio. I don't even know if this is Mr. Beast's fault, to be honest. I don't think it is. I think that he lent his name to, or his team lent his name to these resort people. They mailed it in, and now Mr. Beast is desperately trying to, fix the problem with, however minimally he's doing it. I think Mr. Beast gets a bad rap, if I'm being honest. I don't think the guy's a bad guy. I think he does a pretty good job trying to, put value out in the world. And I didn't like his position on his weird groomer pedo friend, but I think he tried as well as he could to walk that fine line and not offend every single person on either side. I don't think the guy's a bad guy. I think that he's a pretty good creator that tries to do the right thing. I think he gets a bad rap, and I think he's so big that his empire is too large for him to manage on his own. The guy needs like a whole PR team.
Yeah, but he needs to surround himself with better people.
Yes, he is surrounded by
his
dumb,
PR
immature
right
idiots.
His PR people are idiots right now.
They're idiots.
There's been nothing but bad Mr. Beast news come out in the last 6 months.
Yeah, it's wild too. I saw his Beast Wars thing that he did, whatever it was called, the Prime thing. Beast Games, thank you. That show is actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It was really well done. He put a lot of effort into it, and it was a good show. And people hated it because it had Mr. Beast. But they were complaining about people being mistreated, not getting the right food, the dietary requirements. I mean, dude, have anyone ever seen Survivor or any of these other challenge shows? They're much more intense, much harder on your body. All these people had to do was some cheesy games to win a ton of cash. Stop complaining. It's silly. I think Mr. Beast is doing the best he can, but I think Dutch is right. He's got to surround himself with better people. He needs like an actual PR team and not like the buddies he met on MySpace 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta also remember that Mr. Beast is in his mid-20s, and he's like running this like multi-billion-dollar
Right. Bro,
like empire.
And he's still hanging out with people he met when he was like 12. He needs to get better people, like for sure.
Yeah, I do agree with you that I don't think Mr. Beast like was directly involved in this, and there was probably like something where his people coordinated with Resorts World and forgot to inform Mr. Beast about like all the stuff that's going on. But the fact that he's at least willing to try to make it right, I think is a little bit encouraging, because he does seem like a good guy.
I think he's a good guy. I think he's a good guy that has this billion-dollar empire, and he's got to like somehow manage the sycophants and the people that are trying to take advantage of his success and the straight up idiots. And I think he's got to take some of that money, kick out a bunch of his buddies that are dumb, let them just like do nothing, and he can still pay them, but they have no actual control, and hire a real company to help him with PR.
All right. Well, I want to throw this to Crimson. Crimson, what would you say to any of the fans who spent $1,000 on a Mr. Beast experience and basically got nothing?
The only thing you really can do at this point is try to sympathize with the fans without directly taking blame. And the fact that he didn't attempt to throw Resort Worlds under the bus suggests to me that this was, in fact, his team's mess up. Precisely how they did that, I couldn't really tell you. But I think that from everything I've been able to gather, it sounds like like Resorts World is largely not at fault, and someone on his team or a couple people on his team just dropped the ball on this one. So the best response he could really give is try to offer condolences, try to fix things as best he can. I don't know if a studio tour is going to be enough for that, but maybe some of the more diehard fans will like it. And then, get rid, like, if not entirely get rid of the people on his team that are screwing this up, replace them, and then give them like menial gopher jobs. Just like, Bob, you were in charge of finances and publicity, but now you're in charge of getting me coffee.
That's a good point.
Or he's in charge of going and filling out an unemployment benefits form. So
now you're in charge of making sure the Xbox and PlayStations are nice and clean for us.
I think
that's
way too easy on the Crimson, because this cost him thousands and thousands of dollars in bad PR. And, those
but he's got millions and
this,
millions. Right?
That doesn't matter. It's just another strike. I mean, you a guy like this, he gets taken down in the press 3 or 4 times in 6 months, like's going on. He's gonna suffer for it.
He'll just take a month off, come back with a YouTube video, and everyone will forget it. So we were in a 24-hour news cycle. He's gonna be just fine, but he definitely needs to just, I think Crimson's right. Like, change the title of some of his buddies, and if he wants to keep taking care of his friends, and I believe that like good men take care of their friends 100%, especially guys that were stuck with them before they had millions of dollars and billions of followers. So if that's the case, that's cool. Do that, but like give them the job of making coffee or cleaning the Xbox controllers or something. But like, don't give them a job that they can't do. Give them a job that they can do and they can't fuck up. That's what you need to do.
I think at the very least, he should refund their $1,000. A person.
Yeah. You got the money, guy. Do it.
But if I were Mr. Beast, I'd be like, okay, we were going to give away one $10,000 voucher. Here's a $10,000 voucher for everyone who got screwed over. Because he gives that much away like on a daily basis.
And next time he does something, people are going to hope they get screwed over.
What I would be more mad about is paying $1,000 for 3 nights in a room that you could have booked at the same place at the same time for like $320.
And then you just stayed there because they told you to. Because I guess my next question is how many people actually did this? Because if it was just a handful, then I agree with you guys. Just pay them each $10K, make them go away, and yell at whoever's in charge of this thing. Because that's what it sounds like. Because I barely know about Mr. Beast.
I have a really hard time understanding you, Tom, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, Tom, you need to get rid of that voice changer.
It's funny, but I
What
can't
voice
understand.
Oh, I must have hit a button. I'm sorry. Nobody told me. I've been like this all morning and nobody said shit.
Yeah, no idea.
We thought it was intentional.
We thought you were doing a bit, dude. You don't want to step on a bit. You know how comedy works.
That's why I
think
couldn't
it would have been
respond.
funny by now. Like, if you didn't see my private chat, I got nothing on this crap. You guys have pretty much covered it anyway. Because they took responsibility for it, right? Like, I mean, if you're going to take responsibility for it at that point, that, like you guys said, that says to me that it was somebody within his team. And yeah, on the public side of things, he's going to try and make it look good. But you guys just said it. He's had nothing but a bunch of PR disasters for the past few months to a year, whatever. I know it's been at least a little bit. The only time I've ever heard about the guy is from the controversies that come out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
So,
Tom, what I want to ask you though is kind of like in a broader sense, because we just had this week long Nerdrotic meetup, and Gary's very fan forward. So like it's more about he wants to make sure that the fans get an experience, and he does like it actually cost him money. Like he doesn't make any money off this stuff. So what I wanted to ask you was, what do you think is the fallout when Mr. Beast or any other trusted YouTuber kind of fumbles this hard with fans and a fan meetup?
I mean, he's at least got enough separation here to where he can say, look, somebody screwed up. Like I said, he can make it right. He's got more than enough money. I mean, as far as how it makes other people look, we've had enough YouTube and you know, Instatick, Twitch people blow up in bad ways that it hasn't really affected others unless they're connected in some way. So I don't think it'll have any overall effect, if that's what you're asking.
Well, what I'm actually asking is more like, okay, how would you, like YouTubers in general or influencers like have to mistreat their fans in order to have any type of backlash?
Well, I mean, it's not that hard. I mean, at this point, I mean, like I said, he's got separation. It's not like he was there and just not showing up or acted all like obtuse or whatever about it. I mean, he could have even thrown, you know, the people putting it together under the bus, but he didn't do that. So, I mean, he took responsibility. You guys have said that yourselves. So, I mean, I really don't know. I guess I don't get the question.
That's okay.
You always ask these complicated ass questions and I have no idea I barely know who Mr. Beast is. Barely. I wouldn't even, if you showed me 3 pictures, I couldn't tell you which one was Mr. Beast.
Really? Wow, that's incredible.
Really. I don't care. Like, you guys really don't understand how zero fucks I give outside of the shit that we do. Because I have no time for anything else. Like, I don't care about Mr. Beast. I don't know what a Pokemon is or any of these other fucking YouTubers and Twitch streamers and people that are way out of our sphere. Unless they're friends of mine, I don't give a shit.
Well, you know what I do give a shit about, Tom? They're super chats. We got a Aaron Charman for 1 Salty Nerd gifted podcast membership. Thank you, Aaron. Really appreciate that. And then we got friend of the show, Mephisto, for Mephisto's movie reviews for 15. Is that shekels? Does anybody know? Israeli shekels?
I think so. Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
It's shekels.
Yeah,
It's
they're
been
shekels.
almost 1 year to the date that I got to meet Mr. Katy, one of the nicest people I met in the States. Thank you. Yeah,
Yes.
it was great to meet Mephisto and his entire family. Very good people there. And friend of the show, John Yulden, for £9.99, aka 10 pounds. No pressure, guys, but this show better be good. I've just spent 2 hours watching Miss Rachel on YouTube with my 1-year-old niece. The looped nursery rhymes have broken me.
Rachel.
Well, we can't guarantee that our show will ever be good, John. Especially when we're using voice changers and we don't read the topics beforehand and know what to say. But you know what? We're here for you. We appreciate you. All right, guys. So
the show I do with that guy on Sundays is canceled tomorrow because it's Easter, but we're doing a double feature next Sunday.
Nice. All right, guys. So let's go from one fan event to another as soon as I fix my freaking camera. Oh my God, this is driving me crazy.
That's how we roll,
Right.
man.
I know, right? So we had the Nerdrotic fan meetup. We had the Mr. Beast fan experience. But now, guys, we're going to talk about the Star Wars experience and all the crazy stuff that came out in Japan where they had it for some reason. I guess they didn't want people in California having easy access to all this stuff. Who knows? But there were some major reveals at the Star Wars experience this year. We're going to go through them, but the first one I want to talk about is there was a Mandalorian and Grogu trailer, fully produced trailer that they premiered at the Star Wars Experience fan event, and it leaked online. There's a lot of bootlegs out there, which Disney immediately got taken down, but I was able to capture one of these bootlegs, and I shared it with my friends here on the panel, these expert panel nerds. Yes, it was in the email. And basically, oh God, Tom, you're killing me today.
Go watch it. Go watch it right now.
Go watch it right now before I get to you. But it was a fully produced 2-minute trailer, and it starts off with this big action scene. It's a one shot where basically the Mandalorian breaks into this AT-AT walker and takes out every single stormtrooper like a boss. And I was actually surprised at how much I enjoyed this trailer. I thought it was actually really, really good. And that's kind of how they kicked off the Star Wars experience. Or I should say, the Star Wars experience. So, and that's just their opening salvo. But basically, I wanted to get your guys' reaction to the trailer. So we're going to start with Crimson Rogue. Crimson Rogue, I don't know how big of a Star Wars fan you are, but if you got to check out the trailer, what were your thoughts on it?
I did get to see the trailer. I would say that I'm more like a moderate. I used to be a moderate Star Wars fan. It's like, oh boy, Jedi and glowy swords and stuff. I thought that the trailer was actually pretty good. I was actually surprised by how much I was getting into it because it had a good degree of polish to it. Like the action scene where he is breaking into the AT-AT it looked pretty seamless.
Is it AT-AT or AT-AT?
I call it AT-AT because it annoys my wife. It looked like a good trailer overall. So when it actually does go properly public, assuming they don't change it up too much, then I think a lot of people are going to be pretty hyped for it. Now, that being said, I don't know if they can still deliver on a decent product because I think we're all very well aware that Disney Star Wars has been circling the drain for several years by this point, and the only product that they've come out with recently that seems to have any real positive acclaim in mass is Andor. Even Mandalorian season 3 got a lot of criticism. So I don't know if Mando and Grogu actually really has the writing it would need in order to be a good product, because action scenes are easy, especially if you're dealing with a pre-established world like Star Wars. Coming up with the little intricate details for the scenes in between, good story, good characterization, stuff like that. Like, is that going to be there? You couldn't tell from the trailer. So I'm still very much on the fence about this.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are right there with you because, as we all know, Star Wars has done so much damage to its own brand that people are basically like, it takes a lot more to get people excited about a new Star Wars property than it used to.
Yeah.
But some of the interesting stuff about this trailer for the people who haven't had the chance to see it yet. So basically, it happens after the events of Mandalorian season 3. Sigourney Weaver has replaced sorry, I'm blanking on his name.
Carl Weathers.
Carl Weathers, yeah.
Karga or whatever.
Yeah, Grief Karga. Sigourney Weaver has replaced Carl Weathers as Mandalorian's handler. He is now working for the New Republic exclusively, chasing down criminals and bounties. The Razor Crest is back. And there's rumors that Giancarlo Esposito is back as the main bad guy, although he's not in the trailer. So, Brian, I wanted to get your take on the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer. There was a lot of cute Grogu scenes in the trailer, which I feel kind of detracted from the excitement from the trailer. Because whenever the Mandalorian was on screen, I was like, yeah, And then when Grogu came on screen, I was like, oh, come on. So,
yeah, I watched the trailer, and I don't care. It's whatever, dude. I'm over Star Wars. I know a lot of people are still hanging on to hope. They're hoping that Star Wars is great. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't care. I have lost all interest in anything Star Wars related, and this trailer is good. Nothing wrong with it whatsoever. A lot of classic Star Wars iconography and visuals. True, 100%. Mandalorian's a cool character. Grogu's adorable. That's all factual. Nothing wrong with that teaser. Probably nothing wrong with that show. I just stopped caring. I stopped caring like 4 years ago, and my anger turned into apathy, and my love for Star Wars has atrophied to the point where I am completely disconnected and don't give a shit. In fact, now I get annoyed when I see Star Wars shit on my feed, because I don't want it. It's in the way of other things that could be more important. I would rather talk about Mr. Beast than the Mandalorian. That's how much I that's how little I care, or actually complete devoid of any love for Star Wars whatsoever. I'm completely over it. Nothing wrong with the trailer. Looks good. All the Star Wars stuff looks good. And if I still cared about Star Wars, I'd probably be excited for this. But I just don't care at all.
You don't care. I get that.
Sorry.
Nice.
And let me tell you something. As soon as I find someone to buy this once $400 lightsaber on eBay, it's gone. That listing's been up for 2 years.
I think you're a goddamn liar. I think you do care. You just don't want to care. But you're gonna go watch this movie just like me, and I get it. I say I don't care about Star Wars a lot because I want to convince myself that I don't care about Star Wars. But you know what? I think I do care about Star Wars. I just don't care about the idiots and people that are in charge of Star Wars that make all these terrible decisions. Now, I look at this movie thing right here, right now, and the 12-year-old kid in me is going absolutely insane. We have AT-AT.
Sorry, did you eat a 12-year-old child?
No,
that's weird.
We have walkers on cliff faces falling down to their deaths in giant explosions. We have Zeb from the one show that with
Rebels.
From Rebels makes an appearance. We got Grogu doing Grogu cute things, and I love this trailer. I had a really fun time with this thing, but yet that dickhead up here that hates Star Wars right now is just like, screw it, it's over. Star Wars is dead. But the little kid is like, no, man, I want to go watch this movie because this looks like a ton of fun. And I didn't see a bunch of modern DEI nonsense in this movie. I just saw a trailer that was catered towards fans of the show. And if that's what you're looking for, I think they did a fantastic job. But like Brian said, I think we're all kind of broken, and it's going to take more than a fun trailer to get us back. So, I mean, I don't know what else to say about this. I mean, the only thing I didn't like about this trailer was that Grogu looks like a cheap Muppet when everything else is like next level, top of the line CGI and special effects. And they got Grogu that looks like you bought him off the shelf down at KB Toy Store. So,
I'm telling you though, man,
it's
like,
weird. It's weird.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Until they go like full on, like Netflix is obliterated, or like full on, until the pendulum swings so far to my side, I'm so uninterested in Star Wars. I don't care about the lore. Like you said, there's someone from Rebels in there. Yeah. I don't know who you're talking about. I didn't watch Rebels. I have no interest in it. I don't know who. When you were talking about Carl Weathers' replacement in the name, didn't recognize it. Don't give a shit. Yeah. Like I recognize Grogu because that's it. I recognize Mandalorian because that's it. I recognize the classic stuff, but anything outside of classic Star Wars, I'm completely lost and don't care.
Yeah,
I'm telling you right now, until there's like a full-on like machismo, toxic male version of Star Wars, I'm over it, dude.
Brian, for somebody who doesn't care, you sure sound like you care a lot.
Well, exactly, because my apathy is turning into hate. You know what I mean? Like, so at first I was disappointed and angry, right? That what I loved was changing so drastically and being so mismanaged. And then it turned to apathy, which we just talked about, I'm like, I don't care about this and I don't want to talk about it. But now it's turning into anger because I'm still inundated with this shit and I'm over it.
Embrace the dark side.
Yeah, Brian, everything I have to say to you is your anger makes you more powerful.
It's true. True.
Hate leads to anger. Anger leads to suffering. So you got all that stuff going on for you.
Yep.
All right,
Embrace the
Tom, did
dark
you get a
side.
chance to watch the trailer?
I did, but I didn't watch season 3, and I'm kind of with Brian. I don't give a shit. In fact, this is a bad idea, and I'll tell you why this is a bad idea. Because now you have a movie that you have to have seen about 3 or 4 shows to understand. This is what's wrong with Marvel.
Yeah, but everybody knows that already. It's like this is a show. This is a movie that's tying up a series. So
Yeah, so unless you watch that show and care, nobody's gonna go see this movie. Like, really, what incentive do you have other than Baby Yoda? And when you get there, people are gonna realize, oh, this is a sequel to a show that I never watched.
Yeah.
Well, it is
you
still
got
possible
3
to
seasons of
write the
homework
sh-
to do to enjoy this movie. It's not gonna.
It-
It's gonna fail.
It's still possible to write the movie in such a way that you don't need to have seen like any of the show in order
That's
to
true.
properly understand. This is a very old example, but the Power Rangers movie from back in the 90s when they first came out with that, watching the show would have really amplified your excitement and understanding of a lot of things, but it wasn't necessary because the movie was written in such a way that you could still understand everything.
That's true. I actually like
Now,
that movie
will
a
they
lot.
do that with this movie? Probably not.
Right.
And honestly, I thought that the intro bit was a bit too violent for Star Wars. It felt too John Wicky. It just kind of felt out of place for me.
At this point, the only way you're getting me is violence and boobs. That's how you get me back. I need violence and
Star
boobs.
Wars violence has always kind of been cartoony at best. Like, it's never been this direct and stabby outside of lightsabers. I don't
To
know.
be
Yeah, that
fair,
scene-
you did have boobs in The Last Jedi.
Did you really?
Technically. Yeah.
Brian, you got to admit.
Oh, you're talking
that-
about the milking thing? Oh, God dang it.
Technically counts.
The udders.
You got me. No, you got me. You're right. You're right.
That's utter bullshit.
Hey.
Hey,
I mean, Brian, you got to admit that scene of that AT-AT convoy falling off that cliff face is not
Yeah.
one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Classic Star Wars, bro. I got a
But why are they
AT-AT
there?
model in my drawer over here that busted and I haven't fixed. No, I used to love the AT-ATs. I played the games. I'm telling you right now, The Force Unleashed is right up there for me with like Mass Effect in how much it shaped my gaming stuff as a young adult.
Mhm.
I used to love Star Wars. I got the classic tapes. I got every version of Blu-ray, every one of them. I was so excited for the Force Awakens when it came out. Like we stood out in line. Like, no joke, I went ham over Star Wars. When I heard there was Galaxy's Edge being planned before all this nonsense, the kid in me was like jumping up and down in excitement. I couldn't wait to show my kids. It's this thing that I loved so deeply with such passion that I read like 40 books, like Stephen Zahn, every version of Star Wars I can get my hands on, I watched, to the point it's that's what makes me angry. Something I adored so much went from frustration to anger, all the steps of denial and all that.
Dude, I'm there.
Oh.
I hear you. I do. I hear
From
you.
apathy and now I'm circling back where I'm just like, I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Let's just in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to see it. I don't want it to be in my vision. I don't want to see it, the shadow of it in my periphery. I'm over it. So I don't know. I don't think it ever comes back for me. If it comes back for you guys, that's great. I hope there's something you enjoy that you get.
well,
Now
Brian,
I'll focus on something
Brian,
else.
On
the
what?
good
What are you
thing-
going to focus on?
Brian,
Fucking-
you talked
I don't know,
about
bro.
you talked about how you needed a toxic masculinity Star Wars,
Yeah.
and you might actually be getting it because one of the things that was introduced at the Star Wars experience was basically director Shawn Levy or Levy, I don't know how to pronounce it.
It's Levy.
Levy. Okay, so the director of Deadpool and Wolverine and Free Guy and all this other stuff, he finally nailed down his standalone Star Wars movie, which takes place 5 years after the events of the Rise of Skywalker. So it's the first actual sequel to Star Wars that we've gotten in a long time. And it is starring Ryan Gosling, and it's called Star Wars Starfighter, and it's being written by Jonathan Tropper, who is the showrunner and head writer behind TV shows like Banshee, C, warrior shows that we at the Salty Nerd Podcast absolutely love.
Yep.
And they're very, very hardcore action, very hardcore toxic masculinity. Like Tropper cast hot chicks. He's not afraid to get them naked. He's not afraid.
Oh, you're right.
Dude's
Banshee's
doing
a great
badass
show.
shit. Yeah. And Shawn Levy, you know, like he's very much all about, you know, like crazy action scenes and humor and you know, dude films essentially. And so we at the Salty Nerd know that this movie has gone through a long pitching process with Kathleen Kennedy, and she seems to finally have approved it, especially after you know, Shawn Levy's big win with Deadpool and Wolverine, where they were like, okay, you know, Kennedy, like, you know, you have to, you know, give him his Star Wars movie. And this is actually a standalone movie. They're not planning to do a sequel to it. It's not tied into anything that's come before it.
Oh, that's interesting.
But it's kind of funny because I want to say, like, I was kind of fucking with Culture Casino yesterday, where you know, we were watching FNT and they were talking about this announcement, and I leaned over to Culture and I was like, how much do you want to bet that Starfighter is actually Ryan Gosling's character's last name? It has nothing to do with him actually like flying a starfighter. And that really upset Culture Casino because he's like, you're probably right.
That'd be funny, actually. I
Yeah,
gotta
this
say,
is Bob Starfighter.
if this is if this is Sean's, like, let's just make a really cool sci-fi movie with Ryan Gosling, who I like, in my style, and we're gonna utilize the budget and the name of Star Wars to get this made, fine. Maybe I like it. That's not gonna change my opinion of Star Wars right now. I can love this movie and still not give a shit about Star Wars, especially if it's standalone, you know. But you're right, like that his filmography is actually pretty great, and Banshee is one of my favorite all-time shows.
Yeah, pretty much anything Jonathan Tropper does is pretty good.
Dude, the Amish guy in Banshee is such a great character. My God, what a great character.
Still need to get a new season of Warrior out there. So I wonder what happens.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to happen.
I know.
Unfortunately.
I know.
But there was a movie that Shawn Levy did with Tropper. It was Ryan Reynolds. It was a Netflix exclusive. Had to do with time travel, and basically in that movie they had like their own version of lightsabers, just so that they could have like lightsaber battles and stuff like that. So we've kind of seen like a preview of what in my camera just freaking. I'm not having a good day today, guys.
It's okay, bro. Hang in there.
It's all right, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. So essentially, the Adam Project is what it was called. So basically, like with the Adam Project, that was Tropper and Levy's kind of like audition for what they wanted to do with Star Wars. And with Ryan Gosling and his star power, because he's one of like the few new, you know, Hollywood celebrities and stuff like that. This could be the first actual good Star Wars movie. It's slated to come out directly after Mandalorian and Grogu. So if you don't like Mandalorian and Grogu, at least like we have this to look forward to. But I wanted to get your guys' take on this. Start with Crimson. Crimson, what do you think about this announcement for this Ryan Gosling Star Wars movie?
At this point, considering all the other projects from Star Wars that have been canceled, I need this to get well into production before I even start to get mildly invested in it. It could be awesome. It could be a really fun action movie that just happens to take place in the Star Wars universe. But even then, even a standalone movie, you've still got a lot of the Star Wars brand that's been damaged in the last couple of years. Solo was by and large a standalone movie, and look at how well that fared, like in regards to the writing. So I'm like, without any kind of a proof of concept, like the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer at least was a thing, so there was something that we could at least see in terms of proof of concept. But until I see anything concrete, okay, it's another product. That's about all I got.
You know, Brian, a lot of people are speculating that this movie basically means that Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron's dead, just based off the title. They're like, well, instead of going with the Force's female Patty Jenkins Wonder Woman Starfighter story, we're now going with Shawn Levy's Starfighter story.
Right.
What do you think about that?
I don't know how true it is. I guess that'd be better for them. I don't know, dude. I love you, Matt, but I don't care about this.
Dutch, are you surprised that
I
they
want to
cast,
try to care for you, but I don't.
Just block as X amount. It's fine. He doesn't care. It's fine. Anyway, what'd you say?
Dutch, are you surprised that they cast Ryan Gosling as opposed to Ryan Reynolds?
No, not really. I mean, the guy, he can sell some tickets, right? I mean, I don't know. I guess it just kind of goes to what audience they're going for. I mean, what has Ryan Gosling done in the past? What's his big thing? I'm not super
The
big
Notebook.
on the dude.
I mean, he just did that movie, but the Fall Guy, right? It was pretty good.
Yeah,
Was he the Fall Guy? Okay, that was good. I like that movie.
That was a great movie.
Yeah. So yeah, he's a big name right now. So I guess that's probably why. I mean, Ryan Reynolds is, he's a little controversial at the moment with all this stuff going on with his wife. So, and I don't know if he's a Star Wars dude,
Yeah. Gosling makes more sense.
It would just be Blade, or it would just be Deadpool in Star
It'd be
Wars.
Deadpool
That's what Ryan Reynolds does. He's just Deadpool in everything he does, essentially. So he's just Ryan Reynolds,
which is fine.
But,
That's nothing wrong with that. I'm cool with it.
This thing. Look, I feel like the announcements that they came out with this weekend they all seem very safe to me. Very kind of we're gonna make generic Star Wars shit going forward. We're going to try to be as safe and as non DEI and as we possibly can. I mean, you got a Ryan Gosling starfighter thing that is completely separate from any story they've ever made out in Star Wars, which I think is a really good idea. Start something new and put it in the same universe. I'm okay with that. You got this Mandalorian Grogu thing, which everybody knows that they were making. Everybody knew that of all the 20 things on the plate, that was going to be the one thing that was going to get made. And I'm okay with that. It's fine. It's a pretty safe bet that it'll probably at least break even. And it's just, I haven't gotten any news out of this event that made me just the eyes roll in the back of my head, like generally happens. Like last year we got the movie of the Rey announcement. It's like nobody gave a shit about the Rey announcement. It's just, and now we know that movie is probably never going to get made. It's just, I don't know. It feels like they've made a lot of safe decisions, and I think that's kind of the only way they're going to dig themselves out. Because I think even though they know that they're hemorrhaging money and stuff over there at Lucasfilm, Disney knows that they have to make some decisions and make some better decisions over there as far as their entertainment stuff goes. So I don't know, man. It is what it is. They don't make these movies for my old ass anymore. They make them for younger people. So
I want to ask Tom Connors. So Lucasfilm has a very bad habit of announcing stuff that then never happens or gets canceled or whatever. What do you think are the odds that this Shawn Levy project actually makes it to the screen?
You better hope he doesn't have a movie that he's directing between now and then that bombs, I guess, because that's generally what happens is she'll bring in some new hot director or creative, and as soon as their next project comes out and bombs, their Star Wars project just fizzles into nothing. Patty Jenkins, Ryan Johnson, you name them. What was the other one? The ones who did the
Benioff and Weiss?
Yeah, well, there's a few more than that.
Taika Waititi.
I was going to say that, no, Taika Waititi, they said his thing is still happening just along. They threatened us with that along with Kathleen Kennedy saying, I'm not going anywhere. Basically saying she's not leaving.
Like them.
So, yeah, I mean, honestly, this thing might be the only thing that has any kind of possible promise. And one of the main reasons it might be that is because it has no attachment to anything else. Ryan Gosling's a likable actor. Shawn Levy so far has made some decent films. I don't know if his adult kind of humor and stuff like that is going to translate into Star Wars, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's what he's going to make, right? I mean, it's just, and that's possibly why Ryan Reynolds wasn't a choice, because this isn't going to be a comedic thing. But I just wonder if Gosling will be enough.
How is Gosling on the promotional, doing the promo work for all these kind of stuff? He's not one of these guys that goes out there.
He stays out of politics
and talks a bunch of crap and smack like does he? So
I think he's smart the way he promotes himself.
So he's a safe actor, right?
Yeah, he's safe.
He's safe. You know, he goes out there, does his job.
Dude, like he could have, if he was one of these idiots, these political idiots like Pedro or et cetera, he could have totally have shown those colors during Barbie, and he didn't.
Right. So
also, guys, it's important to note that this movie, Star Wars Starfighter, starring Ryan Gosling, is the first movie since Solo to star a white heterosexual male in the lead role. Right?
Right.
Yeah.
And Solo didn't perform all that well. So
I mean,
technically,
his name was Solo because
yeah. But if you want to set Solo aside, it's the first time since Revenge of the Sith that a white male has led a Star Wars property. It's kind of interesting. But there were two other announcements that on the sort of animation front that I wanted to get Dutch Butter's reaction to. So Dutch, they announced that there's going to be a Darth Maul animated series called Maul Shadow Lord, and it's about Maul training an apprentice in between the appearances that he made in Rebels. And this is getting a lot of attention because it's going to be focused primarily on Maul and all of his shenanigans. But they also announced Ahsoka season 2, which is based off of the Rebels TV show and stuff like that. So we're getting a lot of Filoni influenced animated
Filoniverse,
Filoniverse adaptation stuff.
Filoniverse.
And apparently Filoni has personally written every single episode of season 2 of Ahsoka. So I want to get your take on that, because I do know that you do like the Clone Wars and some of the.
I do. I have liked a lot of the animated stuff they put out there. I even like the Bad Batch stuff that came out. That was the most recent stuff that they've locked up. But I don't know if I know Darth Maul is popular, but I'm sure that they can put a 4-season story together about whatever this is supposed to be. He's training a new apprentice or something, just a new story with Maul, and they're just going to insert it into the lore. I don't know if that's what we want, though. I personally want, if I'm going to get new Star Wars, I want new Star Wars. I want new characters. I want them to develop a new universe that's set in a different time period. I feel like this is just them going back to the well of a cool character that everybody knows, and they know that they're going to get a certain amount of views on it from people like me who are going to watch it just out of curiosity more than anything. But I can say that I do think the animated stuff that they've put out in the last decade is far, far superior to any of the theatrical stuff that they've put out, because it just is. It's better. They have time to tell longer stories, and the voice actors do a great job, and the animation is really cool. And I don't know, it is what it is. I mean, I guess I'll have to check it out, but it's not a story. Okay. It's not a story I want, but it is. I guess it's what we're going to get. So.
Well, guys, there was a big announcement about some of these new Star Wars actors. So Hayden Christensen is confirmed to be coming back to play Anakin Skywalker, and I guess in flashbacks in Ahsoka season 2. Recently, John Boyega came out and called all Star Wars fans racist. So it's obvious that he's never returning to Star Wars. But someone who we thought was out, but apparently she's being pulled back in, is Kelly Marie Tran. And she recently came out and said that she is open to returning to Star Wars and social media after being, quote unquote, bullied off social media by toxic Star Wars fans. And I want to read you her little quote here. I have so much love and gratitude for that universe and that world. She's talking about Star Wars. I remain such a Star Wars fan. It has such a warm place in my heart, just that whole universe, that entire experience. and I don't know the context in which things would have to fall into place for Rose to return, but I will say that I just love that world. The hope is that people who are not afforded the ability maybe to have access to these communities of queer people and people of color are able to see through the art that people of color and queer people are also human and they have hopes and dreams. We live in a world where those identities have been weaponized so that people are not able to see the bigger picture. I really just want people to recognize it's the system that's the problem. Stop scapegoating people of color or queer people or anyone who's different. I hope that through the exposure and the creation of making things about these populations, people are able to recognize humanity and maybe ask questions about the things that they've been socialized to believe. So I guess she's queer. Ryan, as our queer member of the panel, do you have any response to Kelly Marie Tran?
No. Like, hey, you want to come back to social media? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I don't have.
I think
you want to be in Star Wars? I don't care.
Is she calling herself a person
I'm sorry.
of color?
Oh,
Yeah.
Are
you're
Asians
queer?
Asians are people of color?
I don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
Asians
color?
belong on the alphabet list with the LGBT YMCA's. It's like
at what point is
I don't
everyone on this
understand.
list and only white people are not on the list?
That's it. That's it. Everybody but white people.
I don't.
list. It's just like,
Dude, she wants to come back to movies. She's queer. Okay, do you, girl? I don't care. Whatever.
it's like, man, nobody drove her off of social media. Nobody gives a shit if she likes to go downtown. You know.
Yeah, you like girls?
Just,
cool, so do I.
Great, great. You like girls. Nobody gives a shit anymore.
Yeah.
It's 2026.
No one cares. It's 2025. We don't care. We've stopped caring about any of this. You like girls? Cool. We also like girls. Have fun with that. I think this person is very sensitive. If you told me after her self-imposed exile, she's queer, I'd be like, yeah, that tracks.
It's like if they
Because every queer person I've ever met or seen speak on social media is hypersensitive about everything.
So I asked the question about Ryan Gosling and how he does social media and stuff just a few minutes ago, and you guys all said it'd be doing great, and the movie will probably do okay. All they need to do is cast Kelly Marie Tran in any Star Wars movie, and it's done. It's sunk because of posts like that. It's nonsense. All that bitch did just now was seal her doom as to never ever being put back in a Star Wars movie. It's like, I love to go back in a Star Wars movie so I can do more comments and posts about how racist everybody is and how they'll drive me off social media again, and which we didn't do the first time. It was all for publicity. I
think her and John Boyega are back in the Rey movie, and that's why we're seeing him in the press talking about this shit again.
There is no Rey movie, and they were probably gonna be in the Rey movie. Not anymore, and now they're talking shit. It's not gonna happen. I really don't think that movie is gonna get put out. So
I think Kathleen Kennedy will make it her personal mission to make sure that damn movie gets put out before she's gone.
Well, I think you're wrong, but that's okay.
Well, you know what's never wrong, guys, are super chats. We got Darth Maul's lower half for €5. I've been watching Star Wars Celebration live streams, and I think it's lame. They are topping out at 21,000 viewers. The Mando snippet may be the best of the movie. Fun fact, FNT usually tops out around 15 to 20,000. So they're getting as many views on a weekly basis as Star Wars Celebration is getting for their once a year production. All right. And Hemorrhoid Hurts for $2 Australian. Star Wars is DEAD, kids. Kids don't watch and I don't care. So he's up there with Brian.
Where's the Darth Maul's lower half on the whole animated movie? Oh, there he is. Okay.
Yeah, Darth Maul's lower half for €2. That little green shit has overstayed its welcome. He's talking about Grogu. Then we got Hemorrhoid Hurts for $2 Australian again. Star Trek is dead. Picard killed it and broke my heart. Yes, we a lot of us feel that same way.
Yeah.
Blame Kurtzman. Then we got Mexican Iron Man for $4.99. This panel sounds like those racist fans that John Boyega and Kelly Tran and KK tells me about. LOL. Yes, we like like to fit into the stereotypes.
He's the
like
most racist guy I know.
Rensler for $10. Imagine if we actually got a badass Star Wars movie and it comes striking back after all these years. A return to form. I get the apathy. It sucks and hurts to even try and have new hope for it.
It's true.
Yes, long-suffering Star Wars fans.
Thanks,
Rensler. And R2D Bot gifted 1 Salty Nerd Podcast membership. Thank you, R2D Bot. Appreciate you. All right, guys, real quick, we got some breaking news. I'm going to throw this to Tom Connors real quick. Tom, you heard something about Batman.
Very little. I've got really nothing to go with it, but we've been kind of hearing this rumor for the last couple weeks now that the Batman Part 2 hasn't been written yet. And Pattinson's been going out saying, you know, I'd like to shoot this movie before I'm old Batman. And he just signed on to Dune 3. So I've been hearing, or at least I heard, that the Batman 2 is dead.
There's a Dune 3. Oh, God. I gotta say,
and the digital media guy, whatever the hell he's calling himself these days, because he changes his name all the time, the physical media guy, he's usually pretty good with this kind of stuff. He also just put out a post that says he'll pay everybody who writes in the post like $100 if the movie happens.
Well,
so
maybe
he heard the same thing.
Maybe Pattinson will be old enough to play Brave and Bold Batman by the time they actually do it.
I'm literally looking forward to Dune 3. Zendaya scowls harder. It's going to be awesome.
So talk
Again,
about a franchise I don't care about.
And I know we've been hearing rumors, but this was just somebody who's usually been pretty good with my DC Warner Brothers news said, "Yep, Batman 2's dead." That's all they said.
I have no reason to disbelieve you, Tom. Another movie nobody cares about. So,
yeah.
I mean,
no one cares.
I don't know if Matt Reeves is really sick or anything like that. The crap that Grace Randolph put out there or not. I really don't.
I mean, he might be sick because he's in the scat. He's got a weird scat fetish. That's not a fetish that is
I did not know
healthy.
about that.
Yeah, he does.
Thanks for that, Brian.
Yeah,
Brian. Do you want to go a little bit deeper and define your fetish or your knowledge of this fetish?
I don't know anything about the scatology or whatever community, but I do know that Matt Reeves has multiple assistants that have talked about how he literally plays with his own feces, and his personal assistants have to make sure no one uses the restroom after he does, and the studio had to get him his own premium porta potties that he can use on set. It's like a whole thing. They actually build it in the budget because he's such a weirdo with that.
Fascinating. All right, guys. Moving on to stuff that's a little bit less gross. And speaking of being old, I want to talk about how there's this trend of social media becoming the new TV guide. Now, for those of us who are a little bit older, we remember TV Guide. It was this thing you used to get in the mail. It had all the TV listings in it. And you used to sit there and kind of plan out what you were going to watch, because back in the day, you were limited by what was on TV at a certain time to make your choice. And nowadays, with streaming, we have so many different options that there's this new term called doom scrolling that's actually kind of taken place, where basically there's so much content available to watch at any time that people just spend more time looking for something to watch than actually watching stuff. And there was a very interesting article in the Hollywood Reporter where basically they're saying that social media has become a discovery mechanism to help people figure out what to watch on these streamers. And because of that, it's now like places like TikTok and Instagram and YouTube Shorts are now the new TV guide. And if studios want to remain relevant and actually get ratings for their shows or get viewership and stuff like that, they have to play the social media game in order to make people aware of their current offerings. So I want to start with Crimson Rogue. So Crimson, do you think that TikTok is replacing traditional TV guides and how people discover shows, the wider social media sphere? Because I know that a lot of what do they call it, Gen Alphas or like whatever, they'll watch entire TV shows on TikTok, right? Just in like short, 3-minute segments or something like that. What's your take on social media being the thing that tells people, okay, this is what you need to watch?
Look, back in my day, we would pull up these crappy 360p low quality clips of anime, 3 parts, 8 minutes apiece, and that's how we would watch our shows. It was inefficient, it was slow, it took forever to buffer, but damn it, we liked it that way. More to the point of your question. I think that there's something to this. I don't know if we're talking full on planning that this would be the way to go, but it is a good way to get good chunks of a show, like the best part of a particularly gripping episode where you see the best minute and a half of the whole thing broken down into bite-sized pieces, and it ends inconclusively. There's a, I think it's Blue Bloods. I've sometimes when I've got some free time, I pull up like YouTube Shorts and just go through bits and pieces. And every once in a while, it's a chunk of a show that might be mildly interesting. And there was an episode of Blue Bloods, a police procedural. I think that's what it was, where some guy running for Congress was driving drunk and hit a woman and her daughter, and kept claiming, "Oh no, I'm innocent of the whole thing," and it was like he's blatantly lying, and he kept backpedaling and kept changing his story, and it's like he's clearly guilty of something, and like I'm getting a little invested as I'm watching this. Like I want this guy to get arrested so very badly, and then the clip ends, and it's like, how the hell does this end? Well, if that's the strategy that some companies start to employ, I think that there very well could be a mechanism in as far as attracting new viewers. They just need to be smart about how they post clips, how they label them to make sure, oh yeah, this is this new episode of whatever show, and you can find it on this streaming service or wherever. I don't know if it's going to be a full-on replacement for like any sort of a TV guide or anything, but it is a strategy that should be considered.
Well, I know that just speaking anecdotally, my wife, she'll wake up in the morning, she'll scroll on TikTok, and occasionally she'll get these TikTok creators who just talk about TV shows that they're watching or documentaries that they're watching or whatever, and how good they are. And then she'll come to me and she'll be like, "Hey, why don't we check out this show? Like, this person on TikTok said it was really good." And that seems to be kind of like almost the model for how this works, is like, you're going through short form content, you get recommended some stuff, and then you go check it out, like the actual service itself. So I think that there's something to that, but I want to throw this to Tom Connors. With the social media landscape evolving and the streaming landscape evolving, how are legacy media outlets adapting to the rise of social media, do you think? Do you think they're just ignoring it and being left behind?
I think they kind of, no. Well, as far as the left, that's kind of two different things, right? Because they have been on top of social media. They pay attention to certain things, but on the same time, they clearly have been behind the gun a little bit. We learned that during the Trump transition, when they realized that the new media is now media, and a lot of that was being funneled through social media. But they've used social media for years to gauge things. But again, I'm not totally sure exactly what you're asking there, because you asked the most complicated questions in the world.
Well, I'm just saying, do you think Hollywood knows how to take advantage of new media, or are they just kind of stuck in their ways?
Well, I mean, hopefully they'll learn to adjust here in the next few years, but that means they got to let us in. But then that puts us in the crosshairs of, are we then access media? What will happen then? At what point are you considered somebody who is relevant enough for them to pay attention to? I mean, they already are starting to, in certain circles, bring in, social media influencers and such. We've already seen that with Lord of the Rings and Star Wars and Marvel and other things, but it's usually just the ones that agree with them.
Yeah,
but
the shills.
They need to start allowing others like Nerdrotic and us and such to be able to have our spot as well, or just deal with the fact that we are going to be here. We're not saying you have to give us the freebies or any of that kind of shit. They just have to deal with us, right? We're part of the equation, and they can't deny us anymore. We have proven that we can make or break movies big time. And going forward, they're going to have to keep that into consideration. They're going to have to keep into consideration how just how social media works in general. And I don't know if this has much to do with what you're talking about, but I mean, I'm reminded of how paired analytics are things like that always pop up, and they try to use those things as arguments and as for certain things. And it's like, look, we're 10 years into this business where you guys have been trying to push this bullshit and try to influence us, when really, when are you going to wake up and realize that the people out there that are watching, they don't care about the corporate shills. They just want to hear what guys like them or girls like them think about the stuff they want to see or listen to or play or insert your media, whatever, here. Right. So, I mean, I don't even really consider myself that much of a reviewer. Although I mean, I do kind of review things, but at the same time, we kind of just give our response as we would a normal person in a group. And that's why people relate to us. We're genuine, I guess. That's the best answer I can come up with compared to the corporate shill media, which is not. And if they can use, like, look at how Barbenheimer, they were able to influence that through social. Don't think that wasn't a team that put that shit together, right? And put that stuff out there. That was totally fabricated.
That was marketing.
Right? Marketing, exactly. So they need better marketing teams. I mean, I've seen some of the worst marketing in the last 10, 15 years, considering I dabbled in that side of the business for a couple of years. So to me,
that was a big part about this article, where basically the guy who wrote it, it's an opinion piece. He says that studios need to be putting more content out there on social media to make people aware of their properties and get them to view it. And just for clarification, guys, if you don't know what Parrot Analytics is, it's an analytics firm kind of similar to Nielsen in terms of like the ratings and stuff. But what they do is they kind of like monitor social media to see like what's trending, what's being talked about, engage that in terms of like how popular a show is. And we talked about them a while back in terms of like the Acolyte getting a season 2, because they said like, oh, Acolyte's actually really popular, but it was all these bots just like posting on Twitter about like how they want it to come back.
Right.
But Dutch Butters, you know, back in the day when we actually used TV guides, there were a lot of articles in there that kind of promoted like upcoming shows and specials. And that's how people were like, oh, I got to go to my calendar and like mark that as something I want to watch, or set my VCR timer to record it for me. But you know, in the new landscape of social media, that's so different. So what I wanted to ask you is, can we trust algorithms to introduce us to stuff that we actually want to watch?
So back in my day, we had to look at the TV guide in the newspaper that came as an insert every Sunday. But no, that's true. We did get an insert every Sunday in the TV for a TV, and then you could go to the store and buy the TV Guide magazine, which was actually kind of a cool magazine back at the time because it had all kinds of articles and
surprisingly cheap too for as much crap as you'd get.
Yeah, it was. I love.
I always love the
reading
fall preview,
my grandparents' TV guide. So
yeah, which is what you guys are kind of getting at is like you have the fall preview issue, which is one that Paul highlights all the time. Well, that's how I learned when I was younger about a lot of this stuff that was coming out.
But that was 70s and the 80s, and even in the 90s some, and people don't read newspapers anymore, so or subscribe to magazines. And if they do subscribe to magazines, like my wife does, she gets a couple. And it's because they literally beg her to subscribe to them and give her prices like 50 cents an issue or less. It's crazy. So she still gets her magazines. But it's, to me, this whole thing is just they got to move with the times. I don't read newspapers anymore. I don't read magazines. I sit on the couch and I look at this thing. I doom scroll through this thing on not TikTok. I don't even have TikTok on here. But Instagram and X and all those.
What about Blue Sky, bro? Do you use Blue Sky?
I don't have Blue Sky. I don't have Blue Sky.
Sorry,
it tries to make me use Blue Sky because I have an Instagram account. But
it tries to get you to use Blue Sky and Threads all the time. I gotta tell you, I'm not gay enough to use Blue Sky. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, but no, people, they need these companies, these people, they need to learn how to utilize and market to people who use their phones, because that's just how people work these days. It's just, and it doesn't matter how old you are, we all get wired to do it. I'll sit there and laugh at stupid cat videos for an hour and don't even realize how much time has gone by. And it's just how it is. It's fun, whatever. So,
well, Brian, wanted to ask you in relation to all this stuff, like, are social media algorithms now dictating our entertainment choices? Like, are they actually kind of like guiding us as to what they want us to watch as opposed to us making the choice for ourselves?
I mean, I don't think so. I think that maybe for like super younger people, perhaps. But what usually dictates people's viewing choices are going to be classic things like sex, money, like the normal entertainment things. Like, let's be real. You get on there, especially for young men, you start looking at TikTok or Instagram or Blue Homos or whatever. What are you going to stop at the most? You're going to stop at the hot chick dancing or the comedian making a funny joke. And the algorithm is going to feed you that, more and more based on how long you stopped at that particular video. I think social media is probably is horrible for society because the algorithm knows when you spend an extra 0.3 seconds on a video, or you watched it more than once, or you let it loop a couple times. It knows that, and it's going to feed you more and more videos that will get you to stay on there longer. I don't think there's some kind of nefarious thing going on where it's like, I want to show you, what's more popular, or these giant corporations would be utilizing that to make make people think you like Star Wars or whatever. I think it's base instincts, like our base desires, that pretty much determine our personal algorithms. And those personal algorithms are so good at knowing what you like that, my personal TikTok has tons of comedians, right-wing politics, and food. Like a lot of food videos. People I've never met before, like with like 3 followers making like tacos. It knows
Brian's
what I
just
like.
thinking about dick tasting. That's what he's been talking about for
the
past 2 minutes.
For real, like it knows what you like. And so after a while,
Exactly.
It's going to feed you what's going to keep you on that app for the longest amount of time. There's nothing nefarious about
Just
it.
keep it going.
You are shaping your own algorithm. And that's what's nefarious, because it gets you to stay on your phone for longer. I don't think it's actually going to change the way entertainment works. The humans' based desires haven't really changed in thousands of years.
I mean, there's very few shows that I can say that I have went to because I saw something on Twitter or YouTube and like, oh, I got to check that show out. Very, very few. I can't even think of any offhand. 9 times out of 10, I'm already checking the show out. Right. Maybe Tulsa King, but I was already aware of it when I, but even I think I was already watching it when that clip came out. So, I can't think of anything that really social media has pushed me to watch. Maybe the last viral show would have been like Cobra Kai or Stranger Things, perhaps. Am I wrong? I mean, am I missing something? Or what's the Squid Games or something like that? Maybe, I guess. I don't know.
I think if a show like crosses over into like my politics and someone makes a meme about it, perhaps I'll be made aware of that show or movie because of that. But
well, what I want to point out is in the examples Tom just gave, like, Stranger Things, Cobra Kai, like stuff like that, word of mouth carried those things, like Squid Games. Like when people, like Netflix hyped that up, people watched it, saw how good it was, and then told everyone about it. So like, like that's been kind of like the way that TV shows go viral.
I mean, I guess if that's how social media played into it, then I guess.
Well, I think it's more about like can studios strategically use social media to make people aware of all the new content that they're pumping out? Because right now, like if you go on Netflix, you could spend an hour just looking for something to watch before you even start watching it. And the same thing with Amazon, so like, it's about cutting through all the noise to get people into the signal, right? So I found that article interesting because I thought that, like, this is a new way of looking at how studios actually market their TV shows, their movies and stuff like that, and get people to watch them, because it's no longer a question of like, oh, we have a big theatrical release, and that's going to feed into like whatever, or like, oh, we have like must-see TV or primetime TV anymore. It just doesn't exist. So like, how do they make people aware of stuff in order to get it get it to watch and get it popular and all those other things. Speaking of popular, guys, we had a big windfall here, thanks to Mr.
Wow.
Rodent 71, who gifted 20 Salty Nerd Podcast memberships.
That is awesome, man. Thank you so much for that. Amazing.
That is awesome. Helped us meet our goal and even exceed our goal. So big shout out to Mr. Rodent 71. You, sir, are a gentleman. We appreciate you. All right. So kind of going hand in hand with social media being the new TV guide. God damn it. I swear.
It's
I
okay,
need to get
bud.
a new,
It's okay,
I need to get a
man.
new
It's
webcam.
okay.
I need to get a new webcam. Okay. So going hand in hand with talking about how social media is impacting what people are watching on the streaming networks, Netflix basically came out recently. And hold on, guys. Sorry. The camera just threw me for a loop. Netflix came out recently and talked about how they're going to be doubling down, not just on video podcasts, but potentially user-generated content. And this is actually kind of a big deal because Netflix, we talked a little bit earlier in the show about how, the Trump re-election with new media was a big deal. And big part of that was podcasts. Netflix has their own kind of like after show podcast that they put out, but it sounds like they're actually going to be trying to do more video podcasts. And, the CEO had an earnings call on Thursday where he basically talked about this strategy. And basically video podcasts are essentially just like talk shows, right? Like it's just the talk show format, but it just so happens to be people are doing it in their bedrooms or like they're doing it with people that would normally get on like a talk show or whatever the case may be. Right. So Netflix actually wants to kind of like find, what do they call it? They want to find something like production ready or something that's polished for premium content. Not necessarily like a Joe Rogan show, but maybe more like a Theo Vaughn who has a little bit of production value, or a Flagrant podcast that has a little bit more production value because they just went all in with Kill Tony for the Netflix stuff. But basically they want something that looks professional that they can then like put on their service as added content because video podcasts are becoming so popular, especially on YouTube. But what was also interesting about this article is that the head of Netflix touched on the idea of user-generated content and how like basically he's like, well, if it's premium enough, we'd be willing to consider putting it on our platform. And this is something that I've always wondered why Amazon and Netflix aren't already doing, or just have a section of their app where people can upload stuff just like YouTube, and then users can go and watch it, and it doesn't cost them anything. Netflix, I mean, people can go and if there's nothing on Netflix main or YouTube main page that interests them, they can go to the user-generated area and watch stuff there. So it just makes sense to me that they should be doing that, but they're not. So what I want to ask you guys is if we can dive a little bit deeper into this idea. Crimson, could Netflix become the new YouTube if they incorporate user-generated content? And if so, how do you think YouTube would respond to the new competition?
YouTube has been pretty good in as far as responding to up-and-coming issues. When Twitch started to threaten them, they upped a lot of their streaming game. When TikTok started booming in popularity, YouTube responded with YouTube Shorts. So I don't know what they would do, since now it sounds like Netflix would be copying YouTube, but the people who run YouTube are, when they choose to be, are pretty good at their jobs. So as selectively as they do that. As far as this becoming a new standard on something like Netflix, if there is going to be a company that starts that trend, Netflix is one of the only companies that could. I don't see this as being like anything that an up and coming new brand or streaming service would really be able to do on their own. But Netflix has the foundation in place already. That being said, I think it'd be perhaps a little disheartening to find a brand new, I don't know, podcaster or maybe a documentarian someone who produces his own stuff and uploads it to Netflix for Netflix to decide, okay, one season's enough, stop streaming here. I don't know. It just feels like it'd be a really awkward fit because it's so different from what they're already doing. If it's like a separate product entirely, maybe it could work, but it just feels awkward.
I feel like if it was like a separate menu option, because they have like movies, TV shows, genres, like stuff like that. If they just had like a section where people could go to see like user generated content, for instance, I feel like that would be like a good solution, because there's so many creators out there that could make great TV shows or like a great short film or great movie that they could like upload and have people like actually like check out and enjoy and stuff like that. And then maybe Netflix, it could be like a testing ground for Netflix as to like what original series to greenlight or like what new creators to sponsor, or like whatever the case may be. And I feel like, YouTube is kind of filling that role right now, but like not to the extent that Netflix could, because Netflix has like, that's where you go when you want to watch, like actual TV or movies, whereas YouTube's more about the creators, right? So I just feel like it would be a smart business move for them to do something like that. So I want to ask Tom, why aren't more streaming platforms quicker to embrace user-generated content, do you think? Because
they suck.
Well, Amazon used to let you upload
movies
and stuff like that would appear in their library and stuff. They discontinued that for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, recently, and it sucks. I had finally gotten approved, but I had yet to upload something, and then it got discontinued.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's what they actually mean, it could help them compete with YouTube, and YouTube needs to embrace us. Otherwise, I wonder if it doesn't mean something like AI. Like, does it mean something like you can use, like, is that the future of these streaming services? Is they implement some sort of AI function and you're able to create your own experience in the home? Like a user created experience? Like, that's what I'm curious about. Was it specific as to like YouTube type situation, or was it something else?
Well, the AI thing is more about the recommendation system that these apps,
because they already had a recommendation system for years that didn't work for shit. It doesn't matter how many times you tell me that I would like Bridget Jones's Diary, I'm not going to watch it. Okay.
But in this context in particular, the co-CEO of Netflix was saying like the potential to open it up to just anyone uploading stuff to their platform, much like YouTube.
Well, in that case, like that could work out nicely for guys like us, but yeah, no, like as far as like any kind of user interface that recommends something, like I remember the old recommend YouTube thing, and it never was that great. Because 9 times out of 10, it would recommend me shit that I've already seen that I know I didn't like. So that told me that it was broken. Now AI is a little different. It can learn. It can, function a little differently than a setup algorithm. That's true. So, I mean, I guess I'd have to see it in its functionality, and it's kind of abstract to me at this point. But as far as being able to upload user content, it's about time they try to compete with YouTube, and I can't believe Amazon backed off of that. Then again, I can see why that, you get just bombarded with garbage, right? Because everybody thinks their movie's great. Everybody thinks their show's great. At the end of the day, there's only going to be a handful or so of each that are going to produce any kind of, for every kind of Terrifier, how many other movies that people put out there that are garbage, right? So it's not, I know a lot of people think that there's this crop of indie filmmakers that are just waiting to be discovered on YouTube, but I haven't seen them all yet. There's a couple people out there who are able to do some things, but it takes more than just the ability to do a few things on your computer, right? I mean,
well, I think that with
Netflix when it comes to that kind of stuff.
I think that with Netflix's recommendation and review,
there already is enough crap to go through, is what I'm trying to say on Netflix, because you brought that up to begin with.
But I think that Netflix, in terms of like user-generated content, they have systems in place that can tell you like, okay, this is of quality, this isn't, this is stuff like these user profiles are related, so we can recommend this to them, stuff like that. But Brian, are traditional media companies adapting quickly enough to the digital content revolution? Like, do you think that these like kind of established places like Amazon, Disney Plus, Peacock, like all these streamers that could benefit from free user generated content are quick to embrace it? Why are they so resistant?
Because they're greedy assholes. First off, I think these people need to stay out of our space. Okay, get out of our space. Max has been doing something like this for a while, since Game of Thrones. You would start an episode and it would be like, don't forget to watch the after show podcast after the episode. Walking Dead. Don't forget the Walking Dead podcast. Fuck you.
Stop Talking Dead.
Talking Dead. Stop it. First off, you copyright claim every single thing we do. We can talk about your show and show a single frame, and if you don't like us, we get a copyright claim. And it's not a copyright claim that says take down this review, take down this video, take down you celebrating our shitty TV show. No, it's give me all your ad revenue, please. They've been doing that for years. If they wanted to actually embrace the digital culture, they would embrace the creators that made their shitty TV shows famous and popular in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
YouTube gets more views than every streaming service on the planet. And they can try to copy this market, but you can't do it without genuine people, genuine reactions. And let me tell you something. If you have a podcast on Netflix talking about Netflix shit, I guarantee you're not going to be criticizing Netflix, which means that people aren't going to watch your stupid TV show, your stupid podcast on Netflix, because it's impossible for you to be genuine because they're your boss.
Yeah.
So these streaming services, if they really want to embrace the digital age, the genuine people that actually create the content that gets way more views than all of these streaming services, you should stop messing with our copyrights and allow us to actually promote your crappy TV shows and movies. Because the reason most of these things get famous is not because you happen to flash it on your banner a couple times to your 12 million subscribers, to your 12 million of paid subscribers on Apple. It's because thousands and thousands of actual influencers with hundreds of millions of followers and views talked about Severance. They're so bad at marketing their own crap that they need us to get those paid subscribers. Yet the second you put a video up talking about them and they don't like what you say, they take every penny you ever made. So you know what? They want to embrace digital age. Embrace us. Know that the reason you're getting paid is because we're feeding you subscribers. Sorry, go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, no, I wish that he'd asked me this because I have another part to add to this. And this is why I think you're right, Brian, and why I think other people will get favored over others is because guess what? Sure, you have an open upload program, right? But they're still going to favor certain people over you because it costs money to store that, right? And they're going to only want to promote certain things. And at the end of the day, I can see where it's going to be like Brian said, if you're not there towing the line for them, why would they highlight you? We already deal with this shit on YouTube,
right?
Who we're technically really not even competing with anything on. Now, can you imagine how Netflix or anybody like that would actually react if you were competing with something of theirs and it were to become more popular? Like, let's say you did a show talking about Stranger Things that got more views than the actual episode, right? Like how some of the things work for us on here on YouTube, right? Where the guys used to talk about Batwoman and shit like that, where their shows would probably get more viewers than the actual show did. How do you think they're going to react when that happens? Brian's 100% right.
Well,
it's kind of a deal with the devil.
What's interesting, Brian, is that YouTube has actually been making big inroads into like regular TV viewing. They call it the living room experience, where people are watching YouTube more and more on their TV apps, and watching stuff that's like a little bit more produced, just like as a family or like in the living room on the TV. And that to me signals that a lot of these streamers like Netflix are in trouble, because I think at most 60% of all like TV viewing in the United States is on YouTube now. So if YouTube continues to make inroads in there, they're going to have to do something to respond to that. Funny enough, Dutch Butters, I don't know if you remember this or not, but we actually pitched Netflix a podcast series about what to watch on Netflix. And
I did remember that. It was
the Salty Nerd Crew. Everyone picked something that they enjoyed watching on Netflix, and they do like a quick pitch, and it was basically like, what are we going to watch? But I wanted to ask you, what would it mean if Netflix fully embraces video podcasting like YouTube has?
I just think it would split the audience of YouTube that YouTube has already even further. I mean, it would just, to me, maybe I'm misunderstanding this, but I feel like what you're describing is another service like YouTube that Netflix turns itself into. Is that right? They're going to have options for us to upload stuff or whatever and make our own videos and our own shows. We already do that on Twitch and YouTube.
Well, but the question here is like, you have these big streamers that have the money to invest in original programming, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where people go to watch specifically like fictional scripted content, right? And if they just opened up an avenue for users to become a part of that platform, where it's like, okay, like you want to watch a TV show, you go to this menu option. You want to watch a movie, you go to this menu option. And if you don't find anything on there that you like, you can go to the user generated content and find something completely off the wall or weird or something specifically for what you're looking for, much like YouTube.
I guess it's just not something that I personally would. I don't think I'd be super interested in it. I find that I have enough options enough as it is that I don't use, so I don't know what the purpose of adding another service up there would be. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. So I guess that's just the old guy in me, and I don't like things to change. So leave it alone. Leave it alone.
Well, if you need a direct comparison, sorry, Dutch.
No, go.
I was going to say, if you need a direct comparison to anything, there's Nebula, which I've seen referred to as YouTube, but with a paywall. And depending upon the direction that Netflix actually goes with all this, that sounds exactly like what they're talking about, or what they're talking about doing. Now, Nebula's obviously got some degree of success behind it because it's been in place for several years by this point. But a lot of the content there is virtually the same thing as what you get on YouTube.
Well, but they do curate, Crimson, because we were invited to go to Nebula, and we decided not to because they would decide what videos were allowed and which ones weren't.
And
so they do curate
the other problem.
Right.
Therein lies the other problem that Netflix would have to do, because depending upon how many people they actually brought on, you'd have to have an entirely new group. Who knows how many dozens or hundreds of people joining a team to decide whether or not something fits the Netflix brand. Because otherwise, if you just allowed anyone to upload, you would wind up with the Matt Reeves bathroom hour.
That's true. That's true.
Dutch Butters.
And that's a good callback. Good job, Crimson.
I'm going to start Dutch Butters potty talk. Let's do it.
I mean, you got a good point. You got a good point. Maybe that's why Nebula has to decide whether or not what you're going to put up is right or not. Yeah, it makes sense.
I mean, YouTube also has community standards that videos have to meet before they can be published and stuff like that. So that's nothing new, and that's stuff that AI and algorithms can be utilized for, I think.
All I know is that there's 600 channels on my Roku that I don't subscribe to or look at every day because I have enough time. I spend enough time, an hour a day, scrolling through something I want to watch on Netflix, which I always end up doing back to just rewatching something I already watched anyway. So
that's true. I do the same thing. I go through five streaming services, and I go, I'm just gonna watch something I watched 15
World War
ago.
II in color. Let's go.
Yeah. You know what? By the way, if you have Netflix subscription and you haven't seen Obliterated, you're missing out. I've now watched that 3 times, and I love it every time.
You know what I watch probably the most on YouTube? Police chase videos. So what have I done? I've just reverted back to watching cops.
Yeah, essentially. That's funny.
Yeah.
Yep. All right, guys, you know what else is funny? Our super chats. We love our super chats. Mark of Reality for $5. I'm far more likely to go watch a video by Az or Anna TSWG.
That's Star Wars girl.
That Star Wars girl. Before wasting money on a movie than checking the Access Media and their fluff. It's very true.
Yeah.
That's one of the beauties of having a personal brand on YouTube. Mark of Reality for another $5. Netflix could become the new Rumble, but they won't replace YouTube. If they're helping creators make their own AI movies, then that's different. Yeah, I think in terms of like the Netflix stuff, if they limited it to actual like scripted content instead of like talking head videos or tutorials or, you know, stuff like that, and they encourage like, you know, like scripted TV series or scripted movies or things like that, but user generated, I think that would be like a very interesting way to go about doing it. Kind of like similar to what Amazon used to allow. I don't know why they stopped doing that, because that seemed like a really cool feature that a lot of people didn't even know about.
Yeah, a lot of people didn't use it, and you had to get approved for it. We literally got approved, and a month later, I was planning our first release, and a month later, they canceled the program. I was so upset. If Netflix actually does this and embraces, you know, real digital creators, like my main channel would probably sign up to create like a, you know, how it was made kind of thing, or some kind of documentary. But I don't think that's going to happen. I think what's going to happen, they're not going to utilize the old Amazon model. I think what they would do is they're going to be inviting very specific creators that toe the line. They're not very genuine, and they just sort of, you know, act like creators, almost like that Mythic Quest. Remember that chick was a streamer, but she was created by the Mythic Quest team to be the streamer for Mythic Quest. We're going to see a lot of corporate people pretending to be YouTubers, or YouTubers that have become so corporate that they fit the mold. And it's not going to be successful unless you actually open it up to real, honest, genuine people that are trying to create real content. You know, I think especially users now, they can smell when something is totally fake and not and corporate.
Yep. Well, guys, we had a lot to talk about today, and we talked about it. I want to thank my fantastic panel of nerds for being here today, especially when my camera is just causing me unending problems. And, you know, when you have better things to do, like play Dungeons and Dragons. So I appreciate you all for being here today. Tom Connors Jr., any final thoughts on where can people find more of you?
Well, I thought we were going to talk about Highlander, or I wouldn't have showed up at all today. I'm going to be honest with you, because none of these stories really interest me at all. But you can find me at Midnight's Edge After Dark, and all those kind of places that have anything Midnight's Edge in the title.
And what do you like, Tom?
Well,
I like turtles.
Turtles.
But
you beat me to it. I was going to say it.
God, I love being a turtle!
there's that too.
There's that. All right, Crimson Rogue, the man, the myth, the legend. Thank you so much for being here today. We always appreciate having your glorious locks of hair on the live stream. Any final thoughts, and where can people find more of you?
Well, thanks for having me. People can find me on YouTube at Crimson Rogue, same address on Twitter. And big thanks to everyone who's been patient with me. My production time has been very, very slow, but my latest project is the third in the Lightlark book series. Absolute disaster. The title I'm working with on that for now is Fantasy's Worst Author Forgets Her Own Story, because she keeps contradicting and retconning so many elements from her own. It's the third book, and she's already making basic mistakes. And might as well announce it here. My next big project is going to be a retrospective look at the Jurassic World trilogy, because I am a massive Michael Crichton fan, and I want to break down the three currently existing Jurassic World movies to explain why they do not fit the mold for Crichton's writing style.
Oh, fascinating.
That's
forward to that
interesting.
one. Yeah.
Should be fun.
No. All right. Thanks for being here today, Crimson. And
Which is
Brian,
funny, because they've been remaking the same two movies over and over and over and over and over
Pretty much.
and over and over again.
Yep. Brian from the Popcast.
Hey.
Any final thoughts, and where can people find more of you immediately after this show?
Yes, you can find my show, The Brain Show, happening at 12:30 today with Shane and and we're talking about pop culture, a little politics, a little bit of I just added a topic. We're going to talk about that dude, the MS-13 guy that got deported. Interesting stuff there. 4chan was removed from the internet, which I never thought I would see happening. I would never thought see happening. It was hacked and essentially is down. So 4chan, the famous 4chan, is down. The hackers known as 4chan has left the building.
That's
But
terrible.
all the autists that were on 4chan just scheming constantly and diving deep, guess where they've gone? Twitter, baby. And so Twitter got a ton more users, and they're all a little nuts. So we're going to have a good time today at 12:30 because I got a lot of cool tweets to share.
Are you gonna rant and carry on that show like you did today on this one?
I'm not trying to rant. Matt's asking me questions that make me upset.
He brings that out in people.
I think he's doing it on purpose.
He definitely is.
Yeah,
for sure.
All right. Dutch Butters, any final thoughts on what's going on the gaming channel?
No, I don't really have any final thoughts. Star Wars is going to Star Wars. Star Trek's going to Star Trek. And, we're just out here deciding if you want to go watch it or not. It's not that big a deal. What's going on the gaming channel? Streaming 4 days a week. We're doing the Salt Divers podcast on Tuesdays, and we have some other stuff cooking that I can't talk about yet. But video games, man. Video games are fun. Come over to Salty Nerd Discord and join us and join in with us, and maybe we can play some games together. So that'll be cool.
All right. Well, I want to give big shout outs to Hemorrhoid Hurts, John Apocalypse, Mexican Iron Man, Mephisto's Movie Reviews, John Yulden, Darth Maul's Lower Half, Rensler, and Mark of Reality. Guys, thank you so much for your support of the show. We all really appreciate it. It helps us out a lot, keeps us motivated, and we love showing up for you guys, speaking of fan events. So until next Saturday, guys, same salty time, same salty channel. And till then, stay salty.
That.